Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen in the Facebook lounge around the internet cyberspace. Sean Harvey here, and my billionaire sister from another mister with the Success with Dynamic Duo edition today. Fasten your seatbelts, turn off all of your distractions, grab a notepad and a pen, and be ready. Be present for today's edition of Success with Dynamic Duo. I just got back from a life-altering event. Anik Singhal was there. Oh my God, that guy's personal story had goosebumps that were 4 inches off my arm. Julia, you want to take it away? I'll get into more of that a little bit later.
So we're actually total Alberta connection today. This is actually really cool. Welcome, everyone. We have a really special guest today, Eileen Head. She is a personality and relationship expert, a coach, a speaker, a hypnotherapist, a Reiki Master, and an international best-selling author. That's quite the list. She assists clients to create connected and loving relationships by helping them to discover their relationship style and get the love they deserve. I know a little bit about Eileen's story, so she's got quite a bit that, well, I mean, we're going to let her share what she chooses to share today, but I know that she's had quite the story, and it's been a bit of a rocky road, hasn't it, Eileen?
Yeah, but everybody has. Life's a journey.
Absolutely. So you've overcome a lot of things. And so if we could kindly ask you to share your story, whatever challenges you feel you want to share with us, and sort of how you came through that, any aha moments along the way, and also if you wouldn't mind sharing with us how you stay motivated and inspired every day. Please and thank you.
All right. Well, like many of us, we go into our relationships and we believe that we're going to be, this is a partner for life that we're going to share our hopes and dreams with, and they're really going to get us. And that's not really what happened. I met my husband at 16 and I married him at 18 and thought he was my Prince Charming, and we had the same values, goals, and morals. But there was this disconnection. It was like there was a glass wall between us, and I didn't know what that was. And so relationships can be our biggest growth, or they can be our greatest challenge. And so we go through many ups and downs of I'm not good enough, I'm not enough, what is it that I'm doing? I would try many different things. I would go to bed at night and I would go over and over and over in my mind, when he withdrew or shut down, I would wonder, was it what I said, should have said, could have I said it differently? Have you ever done that? Gone on that wheel of over and over again, trying to have a different outcome with the same information, right? And so the years went by, but I was probably, I got to the point, is this all there is? This isn't what I signed up for when I got married. And I felt lonely and frustrated and confused. And I would see other couples and they seemed to be getting along so nicely and they were comfortable with each other. And I think, what's their secret? Why can't I figure that out? It must be something that I'm doing. And I was willing to do almost anything to create this connection that I needed for what I didn't realize at this time was I needed a different kind of connection with my husband. And so I went on a journey of self-discovery. I read stacks of self-help books. I went to workshops. I read marriage manuals. And still nothing was, definitive of our couple dynamics. What's going on? What's happening? Why? And so as time goes on, after 35 years, if we cannot figure it out, we give up. We believe that they don't love us. And so that's what happened to me. Love died. And I just came to believe he didn't love me, because if he would have loved me, he would have did whatever he needed to do to make me happy. At the time I really believed, as most of us do, it's our partner's job to make us happy. And so after 35 years, the underlying stress in a couple when you aren't connecting builds up. And I started getting some funky medical reports. And I had gone on a spiritual journey of everything happens for a reason. Life's a journey. And we are responsible for our own outcome. And so I came to the point where I needed to do this for me. So I said to him, I need to leave you for me. And as I left that marriage, I found the Enneagram personalities. And people go, the Ennea what? And the Enneagram's been around since the 1700s. It's a well-respected personality model. It's taught at Stanford University. They're even attempting to get it into the medical community. It's used by therapists. It is universally used around the world. And when I read my own personality profile, it was the biggest aha moment of my life. It was like reading my own biography, because it told me what people value in me. Most of us don't know what that is, and we look for verification and validation from other people. My own value, my strengths, what I was good at. And then it had this other stuff over here to the side that I didn't like as much, the challenges. And so in order to become whole, we need to look at our challenges as well, because when we take our challenges and build them into strengths, that's where our real power is. And then I read my husband's profile, and in about 35 minutes, I knew more about him, myself, and our relationship than in the 35 years we had lived together. And I was beyond excited. I was lit up. I was passionate. Here was definitive answers of couple dynamics. It doesn't have to be a married couple. It can be a boss and coworker, parent, children, siblings. Here was definitive answers. It was like a roadmap of putting the puzzle together of what had gone on with our marriage. And as I became really excited, I started to take my training with the Enneagram Worldwide Professionals to become a certified teacher, because I knew other people were looking for these answers as well. So I've gone on this huge journey of certification for the Enneagram personalities. And what's unique is it has a path of development. It shows you what patterns to replace that are keeping you stuck so that you can be the best person that you can be. It shows you how to do that, how to put your relationships together, your dynamics of your couple relationship. And so I've gone on a professional journey now of I want to bring this to other people. And so I've researched for 10 years. I created scripting. I've videoed. I have edited videos. I have built a CRM on Confusionsoft, which most people know as Infusionsoft. And, and I now have my program ready to go, and it's called Get Loved the Way You Need. And what's really cool about it is it gives people answers of who am I? What do people appreciate about me? What does my partner need from me? What do I need from them? And I take them through a whole process. But I'll tell you, it's been a challenge getting it done.
So, Eileen, thank you for that information. What is it that keeps you motivated every day? How do you stay inspired?
So what I learned was I'm a 2 supporter helper personality. And so my main drive in life is to help other people. And so when I found this modality that I knew it was logical as well as a growth that people could do, and they could see it easily, that's what lights me up. That's my passion. I know it's my purpose in this lifetime, and I know it's my path.
It's very interesting. I've been on a path to figure my mission and purpose out too, and I just got it, right? I got nail on the head basically just this last week, and I'm really excited. And like you, I don't need anything to motivate me, inspire out from outside of me. It's all inside now. And I find I'm sleeping less, I'm more focused, and it's really, I don't know, it's just it's like this light bulb went on in my head.
Right.
And
there's some energy around that, right? From inside.
It's total, it's so, and I find it so hard to describe to someone that doesn't get it yet.
Yeah.
I've run across so many people, I'm sure you have too, Sean, probably too, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, people in those all those age groups say, is this all there is to life?
Yeah.
And if we don't find out what our purpose and our mission is,
Yeah.
then
life's flat.
It's exactly, it's this, or it's this and this and this, with all the challenges going up and down, right? It's not a case of, well, is that going to matter in 6 months or a year or 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, we go round and round and round every day in our minds, where did I do something wrong? How can I handle this? You know? And so, I mean, it's really, I find it very, very interesting to look at the way I used to be and the way I am now, and how things have really changed around for me.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's what learning your personality really does. It is the shortcut to, you know, who am I? What do I value? What am I good at? And I used to be a people pleaser. I was somebody for everyone. And I used to feel like my hands were attached to a clothesline and my feet were flapping in the wind. What do you want me to be? What do you want me to be? Who do I need to do? What do I need to do? I'm really grounded. I'm really foundational. And the interesting thing is, I can be in a situation and some people love me and some people might not, but I understand why that is. It's personality perspective differences. And I'm okay with that. And I don't need to personalize a lot of the stuff that I used to go through. And so instead of my life being like this and I'm bouncing off other people all the time, I really can understand that's their personality pattern. And I'm okay with it. And I can even engage them and talk to them in a way that reduces drama and conflict. And that feels so great. It elevates self-worth. It elevates self-confidence.
Sean, do you have anything you want to ask or comment on right now?
I do. I love this, but for me, that's like way over my head. We need to scale it back right from the beginning. The average ordinary person, this is like university. I've never been to university. So we need to make it into the elementary description of most people are struggling internally because of the way we've been brought up. How do we help them and make it stupidly simple so that they can understand it? Because for me right now, I get what you're saying because I've been in personal development for a long time. But for the average person, it's like, it's way over their head. They're like, what is she talking about? Because they haven't figured out inside of them what they're when you mention to most people about purpose, they're like, my purpose is to go to work, make a paycheck, pay my bills, and help my family. That's not purpose. That's settling. That's coasting through life. So we want to scale it back just a little bit. I totally get what you're putting down. But at the end of the day, the average person, that would be like gibberish to them, and that would be like algebra. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So from my perspective on what I've experienced in my life, it's going through life, not having a mentor is critical. We cannot do everything ourselves when it comes to our inner beauty. We need somebody to help bring out the best in us. Because when we're focused on certain things in our lives, for most of our lives, we're just kind of coasting through life because that's how we think it's supposed to be. But once you have personal development reach out to you and hit you in the heart and go, wow, I do have a bigger purpose. Like myself, I drove a truck for 27 years. I thought my purpose in life was getting that load of groceries from the grocery warehouse to the grocery store and unload the groceries on the back loading dock. I thought that was my purpose. Mm-hmm. Until I read a book, Purpose Driven Life, I did not know what my purpose truly was. My purpose in life now is way different than I thought it was back then. And the reason why I say that is because I know that I've taken a whole new path. I've stepped up a whole bunch of levels. Mm-hmm. And I share my life experiences with people. I'm an average, ordinary person. I had a burning desire inside of myself to be somebody so that I can be a good example and inspire other people that if this high school dropout can do it, why can't you? Does that kind of make sense? Mm-hmm. So I live with passion and purpose every day, just like you do, but in a different way to help people say, hey, when I reach out to people, I'm not better than them. We're equals. Yeah. And there's so many people out there that we connect with, oh, my crap don't stink, and oh, this and that. When I was in the financial world, we had millionaires we hang out with. All the millionaires would sit at the millionaires' tables. And in order to get their attention and say, hey, how you doing? It felt really awkward. You had to walk on eggshells to go and say hi to them. Now that we're in the online platform, connecting with people and people see us on video and all these other things, it's totally different now because they're just like us. We're on the same level.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So my perspective of that is, hey, guess what? We're all equals. Nobody's better than the other person. They've just been at it a little bit longer than us and learned a few more things, but we're right behind them, and we're equals, and they see that. They like, know, and trust you based on the level of connection that you've had, and they say to you, hey, guess what? Wow, this is freaking awesome. Let's go and make a difference together. Because it's not about us, it's about them. And when we help them get what they want, we're going to get what we want. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think on this broadcast, we get people of every level too, though, right? We get people who are beginners, people who are more advanced. So I don't see there's not any stretching people's minds is a good thing. But Eileen, you said for 35 years, you were wondering, you got to a point, you were wondering, like, is this all there is to life? And, I think everybody gets to that point. And I mean, for me, I was in my 30s before I kind of went, okay, is there not more to this? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like Sean, I was like, I know I'm supposed to do more, but I didn't know what. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I started out like Sean with helping people financial services, right? So that was my first business, and I've just went from there. But, I think we all reached that point, and Eileen, your path was just a little bit different, and you didn't really hit too much on what you went through. But I sense that there was a lot of inner, like, looking at yourself and trying to figure out what you were going to do. And I mean, you were just led. It was almost, I mean, how much time did you spend doing all that research, all that reading? Sounds like it was a lot of time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And you
a lot of time in confusion and struggle and then, starting the self-help journey, mm-hmm. looking for the answers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I came across the Enneagram.
Yeah, so it wasn't, I mean, I think a lot of us, I know I tend to do it too, is like, well, I was here, but I'm here now. Right. So we tend to kind of brush over all that stuff because, we don't want to sit there and talk about all those ups and downs. We all have them. We mm-hmm. all have them. And, we're all sitting here saying, you know what? We're all saying the same thing, just in different words, is that if you've got struggles in your life, talk to somebody, find somebody, read a book. There's so much on YouTube that you can access. Gary Vaynerchuk and Tony Robbins. And I mean, the list goes on and on. Type in motivation or something like that into YouTube or Google. And man, the stuff that pops up is just humongous, right? Mm-hmm. So there's so many ways we can access personal growth. And so everybody's journey is a bit different is what I'm saying. So.
Okay, so if we're redoing it, I could take it back to childhood, looking out on my family, trying to connect with them. I've got that part of it. I was very stressed. I think I almost had a nervous breakdown in my marriage. Is that where you want me to go?
Sean?
You go wherever you feel the most uncomfortable going.
Yeah, I do share that story too on stages, the depth of the emotion. I certainly can do that as well.
We're here. We're open arms.
So are we restarting the whole
nope, just keep going.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. From a child, I think most of us want to connect. We want the most love and attention and appreciation from our parents. And in my family, I had 3 older brothers, 3 years between us. And we lived on a farm, and I like to tag along, but who wants a a little girl that's 9 years younger than you to be tagging along asking questions. And so I often, I wanted the connection, I wanted to be included. So I figured out how I could be helpful to them, how I could fit in. And I often felt like, in this family, it was like we were planets, and we were all individual planets, and we were rotating around each other. And yet I didn't feel connected to them the way I needed to feel this loved and appreciation. And that pattern, wow, are you having...
You're telling part of my story.
I think most of our stories, right?
Yep, I grew up on a farm too, so yep.
What I came to learn is that's when our personality forms, is as a child, when we try and figure out a role, a pattern, a way of fitting in, and then that becomes how we show up in life. And so, when I did meet my husband at 16, it was like, finally somebody for me, somebody who's going to be there, somebody I can get really close to and tell my hopes and dreams, and it just wasn't like that. He was quiet and shy, and he was like my silent partner. And I didn't know why that was. I looked for answers. It was like we were business partners, and we both did things we were good at in the relationship. The part we weren't good at was connecting. And I felt lonely and alone, and I didn't know why it was. I just was so confused because I put so much focus on this relationship to get what I needed. And at one point, I was so stressed that I think I almost had a nervous breakdown, because I was standing in my bedroom and it was like the top of my head blew off, and this white, pussy yellow stuff was running down the walls. And I thought, girl, you're in really big trouble. And you better get a grip, and you better figure this out, or you're in really big trouble. And I just didn't know where to go to find these answers, or what was happening. And, that's what started me on my spiritual path, was there's got to be answers out there somewhere, because some people figure it out.
Nice. That's quite a journey.
So was there something or somebody that you connected with to help you pull you out of that rabbit hole?
Actually, what happened was, as I was standing there, it was like somebody or something grabbed me by the shoulders, and they gently shook me. And they said, you better start looking after yourself, because nobody else will. And that's when I kind of went, what was that? Where did that come from? And it gave me the permission to start focusing on myself. What do I need? What is it I'm looking for? Obviously, my husband can't give that to me. So what is it? So that began my journey of self-help books and workshops and reading marriage manuals. That was my education.
I find it interesting, and I'd say, Eileen, we are probably fairly close in age. I mean, my husband and I have been married 33 years, and I would say that, we have a lot of similarities, farm background, the whole thing, right? And my dad came over from Hungary when he was 8. So there's that European thing there, right? Not that it was a bad thing. We had a good life and everything, but there's certain beliefs and values. And one of them is that the woman, and that it's the age thing too, the woman should be at home looking after the family. Even if she has a job, her primary, that's her big part of her job is to look after the family, right? Mm-hmm. And to be concerned about the family and the husband. And, it might sound kind of stereotypical, but that is kind of an age group thing, right? So I really can relate to what you're saying, because that's the way I was raised, and I've had quite a journey of getting out of that as well, and I was a people pleaser.
Because most of our parents are immigrants, right? And so it was a fear-based life, a survival mentality. And it was, you don't blow your own horn, and, you know, you don't talk or unless they ask you to. So as children, I think we really do figure out, well, you know, how do I show up? And I know in my family, we had one of my brothers was the funny one. And when tension got too much, he told stories. And, you know, you could just see the you know, he cracked jokes, or you could just see the tension melt off everyone's face. You know, I have another brother who was the perfectionist. He tried to get everything absolutely right. And the older brother was the challenging brother who challenged everybody, including my parents. And so you have these dynamics in your family. My father was a peace seeker. So he was, you know, very introverted. He didn't talk much. He wasn't very engaging. My mother was a 2 supporter like me. So there was lots of passive aggressive behavior, lots of silences in my family. And so again, I wanted to help them. I wanted to help their relationship. So I really can relate to, you know, how my patterns came about in my personality, and how that showed up in my life.
Interesting. Sean looks like he wants to say something. He's thinking deep. I know he's going into some of his own.
Well, from my side of what you just said, I'm an extrovert. I'm pretty sure you figured that out already. I wanted to be out of the sea of. I wanted more of an individual thing for myself because there were so many introverts that I was grown up with. My family, my grandmother, my grandfather. My grandfather was a little bit of an extrovert, not a whole bunch, but I wanted to be the happy person because everybody else had such a frown on their face. And I said, you know, when you eat a banana sideways and you turn it upside down, it goes from a frown to a smile.
Yeah.
And I said, I always had a smile on my face because I'm super excited. I love life. I'm super blessed and grateful to have the people in my life that I do. And it takes more energy and muscles in my face to frown than it does to actually smile. And people are like, huh? What are you talking about?
Exactly.
I'm not average and I'm not ordinary. I don't want to be average and I definitely don't want to be ordinary because I know what path that's going to take us down.
Right.
If the vicious circle in my family is going to be broken, I'm going to be the one to break it.
Yep.
And that's why I'm the extrovert. I'm proud to say that. I just tell people, hey, guess what? Nothing good comes from being an introvert. Everything you want is out of your comfort zone being an extrovert. And actually, one of our good mentors said this. He says, if you're an introvert now, focus on being an extrovert on the other side of the door and your life will be totally different. Because they don't want to take risks. You know, I said, you take risks. You don't. They're like, I don't sell. Yeah, you do. You're married, right? Yeah, you sold yourself to her and she bought. So don't say that you're not a salesperson. We all sell. Our kids learned how to sell.
Yep.
Excuse me. They sell themselves to us so that we can pull out our wallets and go, here's $5 or $10.
Yeah.
And if they don't get it from us, dads, they go to mom. And if mom says no, go to your dad, then they go back and forth, and eventually one of them caves and pulls out their wallet, and it's usually mom or dad.
Yeah.
So I got really good at that. I had a very good relationship with my grandparents. My mom and dad were away all the time. I don't know my real dad. It's his loss, my gain. And I just look at this. I'm not living my life based on the previous experiences in the past. I'm making the future the best that I can possibly make it.
So Sean,
I'm not doing everything myself.
Can you remember back to how young you were when you decided that you were going to be different?
Oh, I was probably in the first grade, like 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's when personality forms.
And you know what? My son now is 4. He's in Toronto. And it is like, he is like, just like me. The picture of him, just like me, he's in like pre-elementary there. And he's like, you know, telling where the kids, where you sit there, you there, don't be quiet, you know, just the teacher's coming, all those kind of, when I seen that, I was like blown away.
There's another one of you out there.
Oh my God, I've cloned myself.
Well, you know what is fascinating is when you can figure out the personalities. So I have 2 sons and 4 grandchildren and 2 daughter-in-laws. And so it's, when, again, it's the dynamics. When you put the dynamics together, how do you make it right? How do you make it, how do you get along? How do you understand each other? When you are different, when you do have the differences.
Well, and the funny thing is, you said that about when I was between 4 and 6 years of age. I don't think it was I made a decision because I was really young at that time, but I just had this spark inside me that I knew that there was something about me, even though I was still very young.
Yeah.
And it just happened.
But generally, you did something that was fun, or you liked it, or you enjoyed it, and you got positive feedback, and you thought, oh, that's great. I'm going to do more of that. That's how our personality forms.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And man, life's been a great journey. It's had some dips and had some valleys. But you know what? I focus this as to personal development has completely did probably a 14-20 in my life and taken me to a whole new direction from where I was before.
Right.
Because if I hadn't had that in my life, I strongly would agree that I probably wouldn't be here having this conversation with you today.
Exactly.
And I tell people I don't believe in coincidences. It's God's will that everything happens for a reason, and it's put in front of me at the right time, for the right reason, for the right path.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's people, they say fear of change is the biggest fear. They don't like to get out of their comfort zone. If they only knew how juicy your life can be with growth, with understanding, with validation, with acceptance and understanding.
Yeah, absolutely. And my son, it's funny, my wife was watching my live at the airport when I was coming in, and my son's like, my dad is like crazy. I can't remember exactly what the words were, but it was like, he's watching me do my lives, and he goes, my dad is like so serious. He is like freaking fired up. I'm like, if you are not fired up about your life and where you're going, then you need to get a checkup from the neck up. Because people only follow people that are excited and passionate about what they do. I give this as an example. When I was an advisor, you'd have guys that would be like from Sun Life and Manulife and BMO and ATB and all these other insurance companies. They would have their suit tied like right so freaking tight up here. And they'd be like, yep, I'm an advisor. I help people. Yep, you want to sit down and talk about insurance? They were like dead. They're like 70-year-old guys. It's like I walk in with a golf shirt and, hey, what's going on? They're like, hey, man, you know what I do for families? I change the legacy that they're going to leave their kids. And they're like, whoa, how do you do that? Well, I protect their estate. I reduce their taxation. I protect everything that they have in case of a loss of a loved one, death, disability, or an illness. And I make sure that they have money in their bank account if something like that were to ever happen to them. That's what I do for families. What I do for families is very noble. And they're like, wow. That was like, whoa, that's exciting. You should be excited about that because you are creating something long-term. It's not a short-term fling like dating. It's a long-term thing because once that family member has passed away, what have you put together to make sure that their livelihood will maintain the same standard of living as before they were passed away?
Right.
You do big things. You should be excited about it.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's what happens when people understand themselves. You get them out of the box that they've been in. And I'll tell you, life is so much richer and juicier and interesting. And there's times when I'm looking at myself going, really? That, like, wow, this is coming up again. But it's still very interesting. It's fascinating even watching, the patterns that I have or the patterns that other people have. And just like even Donald Trump, he is textbook unhealthy 8 assertive personality. And Dr. Phil is the same personality. only a healthier one. So it makes life really, really interesting, and you start to understand the patterns in people.
It's you know what, I do a lot of people watching.
Yeah.
And you can really tell the average person. You can tell, I don't know about you ladies, but I can get the aura. When I'm within 3-4 feet of somebody, I can, to a T, describe that person on what they're potentially, not to read their minds, but I sense whether or not I'm going to go close or whether I'm going to stay far the hell away.
Yeah.
Because that's that negative energy. And I wish I could control my family. I can't. But guess what? I spend very little time with them because of the negativity going on in their aura, in their lives. Yeah. And I say, I can only control what I do. I can only control how I feel today. I can't control how they feel. I'm going to love them the same, but I stay really far away because they can't handle my positive energy. And I'm like, you know what? If it's to be, it's up to me. You hate where you're at. You hate what you're thinking. Get up off your anatomy and go and think something different and get people in your life that are more positive than you are and probably believe more in you than you believe in yourself for the time being so it can change your life. If not, you're going to be in the sea of sameness. You're going to be a negative Nelly and nobody is going to be attracted to you. They are going to stay the hell away from you.
See, most people don't realize that they have an energy. They emit an energy, positive, negative, different patterns, etc. And they don't realize that because it's natural to them. And so when you understand what sort of energy you're putting out, what you're saying is exactly right. Everybody has a choice. You can choose to or choose not to. You can choose to be the same as you've always been, or you can choose to be different. You can step into the power of that and the excitement of that. And once people get a taste of that, just a little bit of it, it is what propels them forward of wow, this is possible. And unfortunately, many people are stuck in the sea of impossible instead of seeing the possibilities.
Yeah. And that word impossible, there's no friggin' thing as impossible. You split I am and possible and I'm possible.
I had my grandson when he was about 3, his mother said to him, Nolan, you're impossible. And he threw out his chest and he goes, I am not, I'm possible.
There you go. See, it's like when they said, nobody is going to be able to land on the moon. I call BS. It happened. Guess what? It was possible. Yeah. And many people for many years said, that's impossible. You can't do that. All those debilitating, devaluing words. Mm-hmm. You can, if the burning desire and your why is burning, yeah, you can do anything you put your mind to. I'm possible. I believe more in myself than most people believe in themselves to make this happen. This is a must, not a should. Yes. And people spend their whole entire lives shoulding. Tony Robbins says it the best. That event that I went to in 2011 in Chicago, Unleash the Power Within, he says this: oh, I should have seen grandma before she passed away. I should have spent more time with the kids. I shoulda. Stop shoulding all over yourself and make it a must. If your burning desire is to make something different for your family's legacy, for generations, then the why is the burning desire.
I have a saying for should. When people should on me, I look at them and say, don't should on me. I don't like it. It's more about them wanting something or wanting me to be a certain way than for me to, they want you to be a certain way. That's why they should on me.
Yeah.
So I don't should on me. I don't like them.
And it's like oxygen. It's a must. We must be successful for our families, financially, emotionally, spiritually, all of the above. Because when you have that, you write checks for $1 million to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. You write checks for $1 million to build homeless houses in Haiti. I mean, there's so many different things that we can do. And I mentioned to Julie and I mentioned to Jake, my co-author of my book, I want to write $1 million check for Operation Smile to help those kids around the globe that have been born with a cleft palate and have a big gaping hole in their face.
Yeah.
$200 a pop. how many kids would be able to, that would be life altering for those kids. I want to go meet those kids. I want to have 500 kids come up to me and say, thank you for the difference you made in my life. Because it's not about me, it's about them. I'd rather do that than give $1 million to the Canadian government, as we call Auntie Sue, or Uncle Sam in the United States, the IRS. Because they don't know, apparently, as far as I know, they don't know how to spend money correctly. They waste millions.
Yeah.
I'd rather give away millions and make a difference in other people's lives, knowing that I made a significant imprint and positive footprint in their life.
And that's what's really cool, when people can figure out how they can make a difference. When they, Julia, you talked about, you've just discovered it, and you're lit up with it and the possibilities of it, and you're excited about it. When more people do that, the consciousness rises in the world, and we have more people working to be good and to make a difference.
And it's funny. It's probably coming up to pretty close to a year Julie and I have been doing this. Yeah. And I got her really uncomfortable, like to the point where it was like right here, like, you know what I mean? And she can finish the story, but I wish I would have had a video to see the look on her face when you could see the temperature just kind of, and then she was her eyeballs kind of went like this a little bit, and she went, sure, I'd love to. It's been a blessing. We continue to do big things. Bigger things are on their way. Mm-hmm. I have no doubt that I've seen this young lady right in the middle of us grow exponentially in the last 12 months. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of you, Julia. I love you. You've done awesome. Because before, she'd do videos, but she'd do videos in a different way. Now we're going to get her a little bit more uncomfortable. We're going to get her to do Facebook Lives from her laptop. Versus doing a pre-recorded video and then uploading it, because it's not quite the same. Yeah,
definitely. Good for you, Julia.
Thanks. It's been quite a journey this last year. I've really been pushing myself, and that's what we do. Like you said, Eileen, you get the taste of that, and then you just keep on pushing forward. And it's a daily thing for me, probably for both of you as well. I know lots of people who are doing it daily. My thing is, I have a little sticky on my computer here that says, how can I? It's not impossible. It's never impossible. It's how can I? How will I? How do I? I switch it around when I have a negative come into my head, because nothing's going to stop me. Nothing at all.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's really important to reframe that negative, the I have to, I should, I can't, I'll try. Really important to reframe those words, because when they come out of my mouth, I stop and I reframe them right away, because I don't want to unconsciously continue those patterns.
And here's one thing. Most people don't realize, hello, you in there, there's people watching you. Be very careful what you do or say. You want to see that. I know for a fact that my son, who's 16, Dalen Harvey, handsome young devil like his papa, he's watching. He laughs. But you know what? He's going to thank me later, because I've gotten uncomfortable. The other side of the family is way too introvertness. Nope, not doing it. I'm good. But I know now that he's like, hey, you know what? He knows he sees his dad doing that from the airport in Las Vegas on his way back here night before last. And guess what? He knows that if I put that instill in that into him, that it is possible, and we can make a difference together. When you get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, lives will totally transform into an amazing diamond that's in the rough that we have inside of all of us.
Every one of us.
So I want to thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. We love you. Mm-hmm. We need more love in the world, guys. Encourage people to get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, and we'll see you guys on the next edition of Success with Dynamic Duo. Have a great day. Stay blessed. Be grateful, and be thankful for what you do have, not for what you don't have. See you on the next live, guys. Take care. Bye for now.
Thank you.